Were you ever a hippie? Were you like in the hippie revolution?
No, but I do remember the hippies. It was kind of funny because we kind of treated hippies. I guess you could say I've got an older brother. My older brother, he was kind of a quasi hippie. He had the long hair and that kind of stuff. But
did you ever get into like
the hippies were kind of coincided with the beginning of the civil rights movement, and that was late 60s, 68 probably through maybe 72, somewhere in that neighborhood. But like I said, we grew up in Atlanta, and the hippies all congregated in one area, you know. And I can remember that we would go downtown and we would actually drive down the streets that we knew that they were, and we'd just look at them. You know, and they were like freaks. You know, they were all peace, man, you know, and they were all stoned, you know, and that kind of stuff. So it was crazy, but I mean, they didn't bother us. They didn't bother me or anything like that. You know, but I can remember going down and driving by and looking at them, and it was almost like looking at animals in the zoo. You know, it was a thing to do. Well, let's go look at the hippies. You know, that kind of thing. So that was pretty weird. It was, but the hippie movement, and it's funny because, like I said, that was late '60s, and those kids, those people were probably they were college age kids. Most of them were college age kids, somewhere between 20 and 30.
Yeah.
1968. So, most of them, they would have kids about 1960, let's say 1970.
Yeah.
Well, in 1990, their kids, the hippies' kids, came back to almost to the same spot where their mom and dad were in the early to late 60s.
So it wasn't another hippie revolution? Was it?
Not so much that as it was, they were, because you didn't call them hippies in the 90s. They were, but what you see is they're more the we call them skinheads.
Skinheads?
Yeah, they're kids. Were skinheads, and what it amounted to is they didn't have all the long hair. They'd all shave their hair off, and they wore the collars, you know, the dog collars and that kind of stuff, you know, and they all had a lot of tattoos and that kind of stuff, you know. But it was almost exactly like their parents, and they congregated almost exactly in the same places, and had the same, you know, they'd always have some kind of political thing going on.
Yeah.
They were still drug addicts.
Yeah.
Drug people too. You know, the kids were too. So it was kind of weird to see that generation. You know, like I said, we used to drive down when I was a kid and look at them, and then see their kids come back almost to the same place, doing the exact same things that their mom and daddy did. You know, the only difference was that they had skinhead instead of
long hair.
Long hair. You know, it was kind of weird, but you know, it was still the same thing. The peace sign was back, and all kind of weird psychedelic type stuff. It's cool. It's cool.